Are you so focused on the future or the past that you don't enjoy the present and all that it has?
We're going to talk about that on this episode of 5 Minutes with Dad.
Welcome to 5 Minutes with Dad, starring Pavlos and Angela Pavlidis, where you get to spend a few minutes with the smartest and coolest kids in the whole world, and their dad, too. And now, here are your hosts, Pavlos, Angela, and Nick Pavlidis.
Who's, hey!
For an awesome episode of 5 Minutes with Dad.
What am I, an old history book? Ready for an awesome episode of 5 Minutes with Dad.
But first, I have a question.
Ange has a question. So this is not part of the episode, so everybody block your ears. Go ahead.
Dad.
What?
So I just have these keychain that's light up, and one is a cat and one is a bat. And I asked my dad which one he likes better.
Oh.
So which one do you like better?
Ange, do you remember you wanted to write a book when you were an itsy bitsy called
About the cat.
My Cat is a Bat? Yeah. Which one do I like better? I like the bat better because it's a little itsy bitsy, and the cat head looks really big because it's just the cat's head. So,
And imagine the cat's head is actually this big.
yeah,
So tiny.
It's a tiny head for a cat, but pretty big for a button. All right, so, or whatever that thing is. Keychain. The keychain that doesn't have a thing for keys anymore. All right, so make sure we're talking right into the mic so everyone can hear us, because we have an important topic to talk about, and that is the question Ange asked.
On the future or the past that you don't enjoy the present and all that it is?
Yes. So.
But my dad almost.
Yeah.
Wait, Dad, didn't you almost say? Are you so focused on the
present
or
by
the
accident?
past that you don't enjoy the present and all that it has?
Yes. When
and
we
I
were
was
doing.
like, wait, what about the future?
Well,
then you changed the present to future. So
that's right.
Now it's like that. But I was thinking, are you so focused on the present or the past that you don't enjoy the future and all that it has?
I know. And that brings up two really important points, Angela, or three, really. Number one is we all make mistakes, and we got to be comfortable with it. So maybe that's four. We all got to make mistakes. Number two, we all got to accept that we're going to make mistakes and be comfortable with it. Number three, the importance of show prep. When you are doing something, in our case, it's a podcast, or in your case, it might be. Yeah, Angela's trying to get Pavlos to go. Yeah. No, that's not the Pavlos. Yeah, hang on. Angela's trying to find. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
so when
eat chips, eat every snack.
when you're getting ready to eat chips and eat every snack, Ange wants to eat chips, eat every snack, but we have softball coming up. So when you're preparing to do anything, let's use softball as an example. If you just showed up for the games and played, would you do as well as if compared to how you're doing since we do? That's right. Since we prepare and we prepare in podcast.
The thing.
Yeah. So
continue the sentence.
Yes. So
End the thing.
End the thing. See, Ange just made a mistake. We all make mistakes, and it's okay.
I didn't mean to say end the
And
thing.
so that's why it's important that we. Yeah, that's why we.
3 minutes in.
3 minutes in, we're going to end the podcast. No. That's why it's important that we prepare for the podcast, because we catch things. If that was the first time we said it on the podcast, I may have made an oopsie doopsie and not gotten the message across that we wanted to get across. And then the last thing, number four. Do we have a drum roll? Brrr. We should get a drum roll thing. So number four that's great. It's how valuable it is to do things with great teammates. That's okay. It's important to do things. How much better things can be if you cooperate and collaborate with people. Because if I just did it by myself, Angela wouldn't have noticed, hey, wait a minute. We're not talking about being too focused on the present. We're talking about not being focused enough on the present, Dad. I think you put the wrong word in there. So
I have one
Go ahead.
That's not really the thing. I just really wanted to do it.
Okay, what do you got? What you got? Hey-o!
Is that the normal one or?
I can't tell the difference, Ange. All right.
Well, I have
So we do have a drum, but we don't have a drum roll.
That's one option.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows after I said that during the middle. Or cricket.
I don't know. I can't tell the difference.
Cricket.
All right.
That's one option.
All right.
The last one.
Okay, go ahead. What's the last one? Oh, I don't know which one's which, but I'm glad you did that because now I have a nice clean laugh track from Angela to turn into a button.
You do?
Yeah, well, next week maybe I can chop out that, or maybe not. At some point I can cut that out, and we can have our own laugh track of Angela going ha 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 ha. All right.
Or how about the round of applause?
The round of applause, yay! All the way around.
Yeah,
Oh, you just hit the microphone.
Oops. This is how you do a round of applause.
Oh yeah. The people listening can't see it, but maybe they can hear that it's not as loud all the time because Angela's going all around in circles. All right. All right, Ange, do you know what time it is right now?
Ready for the joke of the week. Say it.
That's right. All right, joke of the week. Do you want to do the first joke or the knock-knock joke?
Let me see.
All right, Ange, do the regular joke, okay?
Because I already started it.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you call a dog that can't tell time?
That can.
I watched all. Oh wait, no, that you.
All right, hang on. All right, everybody, pretend that never happened. Here we go. Let's go back in time. Oh, wait, that's not going back in time. That's going forward. Which one's the going back in time?
Oh no.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ange. Okay. All right, Ange, do you want to do the first joke or the second joke?
What do you call?
I like how you...
I'll do the first.
Okay, what do you got?
What do you call a dog that can tell time?
What do you call a dog that can tell time? A watchdog.
Knock, knock. Dad.
You don't like that? You want laughter? Here we go. Hey-o. What?
Hold on. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
This is my homemade one, so.
Okay.
we can do
This
that.
is my homemade one, so who?
No. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
This is
My who?
can't stop laughing.
I can't stop laughing. Who? All right, let's chat
All right,
about
knock,
the.
knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting Angela.
Hey! Oh, Ange. All right.
Dad, you tried that one, but say interrupting and then one.
Okay. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting pig.
Interrupting pig.
Oink, oink. That was a good one. All right, let's chat about the resource of the week because this resource of the week.
No, wait.
What you got? What you got?
Who's ready for the resource of the week?
Me.
Dad, this is a pig.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a real oink. That's not just oink oink. All right, so this resource of the week inspired the topic of the week
Dad, you may
this episode. I think we lost control of Ange. And it is a
I
book
wasn't
by
saying
my
that.
friend Mark Brown,
Called
illustrated
Oink
by
Zen-
Amy
no, called-
Lynn Larwig, called Zen Pig. So Mark's a friend of mine and has written a number of books under the Zen Pig umbrella. It's a series, and he sent me
Umbrella.
a bunch of them this week to check out, and we started
Umbrella?
going through, and we read Ange. Yes, umbrella. That means it's just a turn of phrase where you say if they're a bunch of related things, you say it's under the umbrella of something. Ange is dancing. Ange, that's all right. So
Noisy because of the necklace.
I'm not going to read the whole book here, but I'm going to read one page because it inspired this episode. And you may have heard Angela. Hang on. You may have heard Angela, but let's give people the shout out there. So Zen Pig, if you go to 5minuteswithdad.com/Zen Pig, that's our affiliate link to send you over to Amazon to check out book number 1. There are 6 in the series, and it's really, really cool. And the illustrations are pretty cool too, huh, Ange? All right, go ahead, Ange. Read this page, and then we'll...
Never waste time thinking of the future and past. just enjoy this moment and all that it has.
Never waste time thinking of the future or the past. Just enjoy this moment and all that it has. That was one page in this book that was really, really thoughtful and really, really inspiring. So we decided to build a whole episode around it.
On the back.
And there's an umbrella under the Zen Pig umbrella. There's a pig and a cat on the back. So I love this book. So check it out. 5minuteswithdad.com/ZenPig. All right, Ange, what do you got?
Okay. So you know when you said shout out?
Shout out.
It reminds me we need to do some shout outs.
We do need to do some shout outs. Who do we need to do some shout outs to?
I don't know.
Let's see here. So
Because I don't know who did it yet.
yeah,
We haven't looked at them.
yeah, we don't really. So if you want to shout out, give us a review on iTunes and we will check it out.
Is there any newer ones?
We don't have any new ones since the last. Oh, here we go. Oh, no, those are recent episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hey, there we go. We don't have any recent ones since the last time we gave a shout out, but if you give a shout out, we will give you if you give us a review, we will give you a shout out on a show. So check it out. All right, let's do the last joke. Let's do the knock knock.
Who's there?
Bacon.
Bacon who?
Baking some cookies in there. Something smells delicious. Let me in.
Let me in.
Let me in.
Let me in. Who down?
Yes. Who's there?
Lemon.
Lemon who?
Lemon me in.
Lemon. Oh, Ange.
Say knock knock.
Who's there?
Lemon.
Lemon who?
Let me in. Wait. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Lemon.
Lemon who?
Lemon me in.
How many strikes we get in softball?
3.
All right. So we wanted to talk. You're out of there. We want to talk about being so focused on the future and the past that you don't enjoy the present and all that it has. Whoa. So Angela, we've talked about this before. What did we call it? Be present when you're present? So being present we talked about that in an episode a long, long time ago, but let's revisit that discussion in light of the Zen Pig book. All right. So we're going to break this down in a few different ways. We're going to talk about focusing on the future and how that can be helpful, but also how that cannot be very helpful. We're going to talk about the past and what's helpful about the past and what can be helpful. We're going to talk about the present and 3 things about the present. Okay. So is it okay if I lead this discussion and so that way we stay organized?
Like you always do.
Well, no, you lead some discussions, but we have a lot to go through. So I want to stay organized with this to make sure we cover it because it's so important. Cool. Okay. Awesome. All right. So being focused on the future can be a positive thing and it can be a negative thing in some ways. So Angela, being focused on the future, can you think of something that can be positive if you are thinking at least about the future?
Well, maybe something that could be positive about the future is seeing your family. Yeah,
so if you are focused on the future just a little bit to say, okay, what can I plan to do some positive things in the future? So it's good to set goals for the future. It's good to plan time to see your family. It's good to think a little bit about the future, but then if you want that, go ahead.
Because sometimes you have to plan ahead because if you're present and then you just walk somewhere and say, hey, you want to come over?
Yeah.
And then they might be, oh, we already planned for something today, like yesterday or the day before.
That's
then,
right. Yeah, if you want to go visit, if you want to have a play with your neighbors and you only show up the day you plan, they might not be there, right? Or they might be busy, right? So, or your family or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
I love that, buddy.
Yeah. So I like the focus or looking at the future is important to plan to make sure that you do important things. But then let's just say you do that. Let's say you look to the future and say, I want to start a lemonade stand, or I want to what?
I want to blank.
You want to blank. So then you come to the present and say, what do I need to do today to be able to achieve that tomorrow?
And then say, I want to blank. And then say, let's see how I can blank.
That's right. So let's say, Angela, you want to play with the neighbors next Saturday. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now you come to the present. You say, that's my plan. That's what I want to achieve. Now you come to the present and say, what can I do today to make it more likely that I'll play with the neighbors? Ask them. Yes.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, that's okay.
Ask to dumb.
Ask the dumb. Yeah. So if you want to run a long race, then you come to today and say, what can I do? I can practice running. So that's what's important on the future, but you're not focusing on the future. You're just setting a target in the future, a goal for the future. And then you come right to the present and say, what do I have to do today to be able to achieve that tomorrow or a month from now or a year from now? So, Ange, let's talk about the past. Now, if we're always worried about the past, Ange, do you remember at the beginning of the episode how I stumbled and put the wrong word in there? Mm-hmm. If I was still focused on that, would we be recording a podcast right now?
Probably not.
No. If I was all bummed out that I messed up, then yes. But so I did something in the past that was not very helpful. But what did I do? I learned from it. So we set goals for the future and then come to the present. For the past, we don't stay in the past and focus all of our attention on what happened in the past. We learn from stuff in the past, good and bad. Yes. And then we come to the future and apply what we learned to the to the present. See, there I go again. So that's why it's so important. We keep our
Go back to the future.
Go back to the future. That was a good movie back in the day.
Go back to the future?
There's a movie called Back to the Future.
Huh?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, we'll have to watch it together. So future, we set goals for the future, but then we come to the present because that's the only thing we can control is what we do today, not what happens tomorrow. We go to the past to learn from it, good and bad, and say, "Ooh, this worked out really well. Let me do more of it." Or that didn't work out too well.
The only thing you can't plan in the future is if you get sick.
Yeah. So if you you never know if you're going to get a cold or whatnot. So there's a whole bunch of stuff we can't control in the future. There's a whole bunch of stuff that already happened we can't change in the past, funny? But we can change what we do today. So that's why it's important to just quickly look and then come right to the present. Go ahead, Ange.
So you know how seconds are made?
Seconds are made? How are they made?
I mean, no. You know how, you know what seconds are?
I do.
In 1 second, it's going to be the future.
That's right. Whoa, we just went to the future. Anything good?
I'm back in the future. In the future again.
Yes.
I love the future.
All right, so now let's focus on the present, which is the future from yesterday. We're always in the future.
1 second ago was the past.
That's right.
1 second now is the present. And
yes.
Wait, so it all depends on seconds. So, Dad, count from 1 to 5.
Okay. 1.
The last second was the past.
Oh my goodness. 2.
The next second, or no, this 2 second is the future. Every second is the future.
3, 4, 5.
Whoa!
Whoa, I went to the future real fast. All right. So let's talk about the present.
Yeah.
What's cool about the present is we can, go ahead.
Yeah.
Is we can use all of our senses in the present. We can smell the room.
Get one of the buttons that says, ooh.
Oh, wait, what do you want it to do?
Get one of these things. Yeah. Oh, that says, ooh.
There we go. Now you said it, so I'll be able to cut it.
Not boo, but boo.
Ooh. All right.
It kind of sounded like boo, but it's not.
So, Ange, let's talk a little bit about why the present is so important. Number one is there are some people who are so focused on the future that they miss all the really cool things around them. Now, we have the ability, we can use our brain and some of our other senses about the past. Like we can remember what something smelled like. When I came home from the gym today, Ange, can you remember what I smelled like?
Sweat.
But do you know what I'm going to smell like tomorrow?
Maybe the same.
I don't know. That's right. Maybe the same after the gym. So
you go to the gym tomorrow.
That's right. So my point is, you know what happened a little bit in the past. You can remember your sense of smell.
By the way, I can predict the future.
Go ahead.
I am going to eat something.
Whoa! Let's see if it comes true. Tune in next time. But
I can predict another thing in the future.
What you got?
I'm going to touch the yeah button. Yeah.
Whoa. So, Ange,
One more thing in the future.
what you got?
I am going to say hi. Hi!
All right. So, Ange,
And bye at the end of the episode.
That's right. You're going to go like this.
Bye.
So, Ange, the present, the past, you can't use all your senses
And
when you go
we're
to the
back.
past. You only use your memory, and sometimes your memory can remember how something felt, something smelled, something looked, and whatnot. But there's only so much in the past. There's nothing you can control. There's only so much that you can remember. In the future, you can't predict. Just like you said, well, if you go to the gym, you don't know if I'm going to go to the gym. And then when I come home from the gym, you don't know if I'm going to jump in the shower right away. You have no idea what's going to happen. So we can't predict the future. We can create the future by what we act.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Just we can
Go
make
ahead.
the future.
That's right. We can influence the future, but do we influence it in the future or do we influence it today with what we do today?
I don't know. Maybe the day.
Yeah, we influence what happens tomorrow based on what we do today.
Yeah. And one other example is I'm going to touch and make something bright.
Whoa, Angela
touched
just
something?
yeah.
And I turned it on. So now it's bright.
Yeah, she made her glowing buttons bright. So, the present is when all of our senses are active. Remember we take walks, Ange, and I say, let's smell the fresh air. Let's listen to the background, all the birds and all the animals chirping.
Yeah.
We can use all of our senses. We can feel the breeze. But Ange, do you remember what the breeze felt like last week when we played softball?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It wasn't so much of a breeze.
There wasn't so much of a breeze, but there was a little bit. And we don't really remember all the details from the past now, but we can experience them and we can enjoy them in the present. Now, here's something I want to do before we end this podcast. That's a little weird for a podcast, but weird's good, right, Ange?
Sure.
So one thing I want to do is one of the ways we can really experience and enjoy the present is by being comfortable when it's quiet. Sometimes it's uncomfortable when it's quiet because our brains are buzzing and we're thinking about other things. But to really enjoy the present, we need to get a little comfortable with it being quiet. So this is what I'm going to do. We're not going to do it for a minute, but I want you to build up to a minute over time. I want you to just stop everything you're doing and not except for breathing
And living.
and living. I want you to stop everything else you're doing and
Kill listen.
what's that?
I said kill listen. I meant to say still listen.
Still listen, yes.
Don't kill listen.
I want you to just use all of your senses for just 10 seconds and I want you to experience what you're hearing, what you're smelling, and I want you to do it with your eyes closed because we see all day. So I want you to close your eyes for 10 seconds. I'll tell you when the 10 seconds are up and just relax. I don't want you to think of anything but what's going on around you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ready? Go. And we got to be quiet. Well, let's try it again. We're good. This is going to be a long podcast episode. So I want you to close your eyes, be still, have your body be still.
Close my eyes?
Yes, close your eyes, have your body be still, and just focus on what you can hear, what you can smell, and what you can feel, okay? And it doesn't have to be with your hands, what you can feel with your feet, what you can feel with the breeze or anything, okay? Ready?
We'll say some examples.
Yep.
Heard
And then
or
I want you to describe it to me, okay? Afterwards, okay? We'll do 15 seconds in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Now, Ange,
I just kept
was
touching
was that harder than you thought? Because what we talked about was you being still. And were you still?
No.
No. But when we're used to go, and we're used to TV and phones and all that stuff, it can feel uncomfortable to sit still for even 10 or 15 seconds. But
Wait, Dad, I have a game.
hang on. You can say the game. But when we are quiet and when we are still, we can really experience all the really cool things that are going on around us, like when we take our walks. So, Ange, what's one thing that you didn't touch with your hand, but that you can remember a sense of feeling when you had your eyes closed?
My eyelids?
You felt your eyelids. Yeah, you can feel that when you close your eyes.
Another thing I heard was something coming out of air.
Yeah.
Was air
Yeah.
from something called an air conditioning.
Yes, we hear the air conditioning in the background.
Hopefully it doesn't get on the podcast.
No, these microphones will keep it out. And what about smell? Did you smell anything?
I smelled air.
Air, fresh air, huh? Yeah. But when we were talking for the 20 minutes or whatever before, 20 minutes and change before, do you remember what you were smelling the whole time, or you were just focused on our conversation, weren't you?
I smelled every single thing the same, touched every single thing the same, and listened to every single thing the same.
Yeah. Well, if you take a pause, even for just 10 or 15 seconds, especially sometimes if you're nervous or if you're scared or whatnot, and you just pause for 10 or 15 minutes and realize all the cool things, all the amazing things in nature, go outside, just stand on the front yard and just listen and smell for about 15 seconds, you can really, really come to center and relax and enjoy and appreciate all the amazing things that are happening around us at all times.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got, Ange?
Okay, so I have a game that we could play probably next episode.
All right. What's the episode? What's the game called?
Or maybe if we have time this episode. So, it's called the Sense Game.
I'm Pavlos. Hello.
It's called the Sense Game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you play it?
So first, you don't do anything but feel with your eyes open so you can see what you're feeling. Or no, with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
And you have to try and guess what you feel.
Mm-hmm. I think that's probably a better game for video, because then people can say, how does she not know that's a watermelon?
So you can guess what you feel.
Yeah.
You can guess what you smell.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not taste. We'll not use that sense. You can guess what you feel, smell, and see.
Yeah.
You probably know what you can see. So maybe feel and taste.
Smell. You know what's really interesting about that idea, Ange? Let's just say what's really interesting about that is we might. What if we played a game, and this probably isn't for the podcast because it's hard to do, but maybe on a video or something, where we played a game where you had to go through each sense at a time and see when you know what something is. Like, say, for example,
but not like our eyes. Not
right.
Feelings.
Like
then we can just obviously.
Yeah.
Because look, let's play the seeing one.
Yeah.
Ooh, I see a dad. Ooh, I see a computer. Ooh, I see walls.
But let's say like mom cut up some fruit for us, and
strawberries.
Well, hang on. Let's just say she cut them all up into the exact same shape as each other, the same size and same shape. Okay. And then she put them on the table and you touched them all and they all were little tiny squares. Would you know which one each one was?
Well, actually, maybe.
Maybe, because someone might be.
No, because of the texture.
Exactly. So you might.
Or
go ahead.
Because of the smoothness.
Yeah.
Or because it can never be cut into the same shape.
So size, shape. That's okay. Shape. So that's a really important point. There are some things that from touching, you'll know exactly what they are, even if they're the same shape as something and the same size as something else. Then there are some things that you could smell. Like if you had the fruit and you smelled it, the ones that you didn't understand. Next we go to smell. And you might be able to get it. You might say, oh, a little piece of watermelon smells like this. A little piece of strawberry smells like that. A little piece of blueberry smells like this or whatever. But then there are some that you probably wouldn't get even with touching and smelling. You might guess, they're fruit, but it might be wrong. Then you could try taste. Mm-hmm. And then you'd probably know, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you still don't know, then you can try seeing.
Yes, and then you would. So that just goes to show us how important it is, because you can't feel something in the future. You can only feel it in the present. Yeah. If we're in the present, we have the benefit of all of our senses to really experience what's going on around us. Mm-hmm. I like that game, Ange. All right, let's cut it here because we got...
You can try that at your house too. Not even on a video call. Anything.
Yeah, with your family. That might be a fun family fun night to do.
Oh, yeah.
So
we got to get back into the Friday family.
Friday family fun night. All right. So let's wrap it up there. Don't forget to check out 5minuteswithdad.com/ZenPig to check out the Zen Pig book. Oh, I can't talk. All right. We better get going because I can't talk and said Jinx.
I'm Jinx.
All right. Thanks for listening to 5 Minutes with Dad.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to 5 Minutes with Dad. To connect with Pavlos, Angela, and Nick, subscribe to the 5 Minutes with Dad newsletter at 5minuteswithdad.com.
Thank you for listening.